Arthaya Tattvabodho Vidhiyate. Oh. In the end, we saw Acharya says, Tasmat Karanat Jiveshwara Veda Buddhi Nasvikarya. For this reason we have discussed the conclusion. Buddhi is in the word is in the sense of conclusion, or one should not conclude. Nasvikarya. One should not conclude, or the conclusion of the differences between Jiva and Ishvara. Nasvikarya, between individual and total, is not to be accepted. And we saw last time, this statement is primarily for a seeker. Because one who knows that the Swarupa of the Jiva and one who knows the Swarupa of Ishvara, there is no Veda Buddhi. There is no conclusion of differences between the two. When you know, and when you know it, then there is no need to advise, Nasvikarya, that you should not accept this. That is not required because it is known. When you know there's 2 plus 2 equal to 8 minus 4, so it is known fact. So need not be told, therefore you should not accept. This is told to a seeker for a purpose. What is the purpose? When you accept this possibility that there may not be this difference, then only one would proceed to pursue this knowledge. Okay? Then I have an erroneous perception about myself. I have an erroneous perception about the Lord Ishvara. Then only one will pursue the self-knowledge. That is what is told here. And when we see, in other words, when we perceive something, there is object consciousness. And the seer is the subject consciousness. And the knowledge is Jnana consciousness. So it is all the way consciousness. And I, any object that is never away from isness, the existence, the Sat. And that Sat is Chit. So nothing is away from Satchit. Everything is Satchit. That is what told. Now, the question is, how come it is felt they are different? Because of ignorance. And that conclusion, erroneous knowledge, is so confounded, even when told there is an objection. So here is an objection raised. This is the teaching tradition. Teacher himself raises an objection and teacher himself resolves the objection. When it is taught, it is possible that my own mind may raise a doubt and somebody's mind may raise a doubt about which I may not have an answer, about which I may not have a clarity. So also here, teacher himself raises a question and teacher himself answers it. What is the question? Look at the next section. He says, Nanu. It starts with Nanu. Nanu is a traditional way of saying no, no, or calling for attention, or raising an objection. I have an objection. Hold on. This is not true. I have a question. That is Nanu. So student says Nanu. What is Nanu? Look at the sentence. Should you have the book? Sahankarasya kinchidagnasya nirahankarasya सर्वज्ञेश्वरस्य तत्त्वमसि इति महावाक्यात् कथम अभेद बुद्धि स्यात् कथम न स्यात् उभयोः विरुद्ध धर्म आक्रांतत्वात्. He says, how can I उभयोः विरुद्ध धर्म आक्रांतत्वात्? The question is, how can I have the knowledge of non-difference between the two? The whole sentence, long sentence, can be reduced to this one small sentence. Katham abheda buddhi syat. How can there be cognition of non-difference? Between whom? Between Jiva and Ishvara. Between the individual and the total. Between the individual and the person and the Ishvara, the Lord. Then there are few words which qualifies Jiva. There are adjectives to Jiva. It describes the nature of the Jiva as well as describes the nature of Ishvara. By putting this word, the student or the doubter, as though clarifies that yes, that the reason behind impossibility of this buddhi, the reason behind not having this cognition. What is the reason? Sahankarasya kinchidagnisya. The Jiva, who is what? Who is Hankari, as a ego. And the Jiva, who is what? Kinchidagna, means one who has limited knowledge. The one who is limited in terms of knowledge and one who is having an ahankara, ego. How can this one Jiva and other side Ishvara, the Lord? Who is the Lord? Nirahankaraha. The Lord, one who doesn't have ego, and Sarvagnasya, the Lord is all knower. And how can there be the cognition of non-duality between these two, which are seemingly opposite, seemingly diagonally opposite in their nature? Here is an individual who is endowed with ego and is limited knowledge-wise. Of course, you can say knowledge-wise, Shakti, power-wise, every which way, limited. And the Ishvara, who doesn't have an ego, and the one who is limitless in any which way. How we are talking? Mahavakya. By this Mahavakya, by the sentence that reveals Tattvamasi. The sentence is Tattvamasi. Tat means that, Tvam means you, Asi means are. That you are, means, oh individual, you are the Ishvara. You are the total. You are the Lord. By this sentence, how can there be cognition of non-duality? So the whole translation of so far can be, but from this sentence, through this sentence, Tattvamasi, that you are. That sentence revealing non-duality between me and Ishvara. By listening to or studying to or revelation from this sentence, how can there be cognition of non-duality between individual and total? The individual who is endowed with ego and with limitations, and the total, the Ishvara, who is free from ego and he is free from any kind of limitations. How can that? Meaning thereby, there cannot be. It is not possible. Or right, proper way of putting it is, that is where Shraddha comes in. The student says, it seems impossible. Seems impossible. It appears to be impossible. When you say it is impossible, that means you are denying the fact. It seems impossible, that means since you are saying it may be possible, but to me, it seems that should not be possible. And last word is, in one word he says, Ubayoho viruddha dharma akrantatva. Akrantatva means endowed with, of the nature of, or possessed of. Ubayo. Both are of the nature of, which nature? Viruddha dharma. Both are endowed with opposite qualities. Or you can say not only opposite, contradictory qualities. And opposite qualities are diagonally opposite qualities. Since both are possessed of or endowed with or of the nature of those qualities which are contradictory to each other, which are totally diagonally opposite to each other, how can there be cognition of oneness? Okay? Let's see these words now. Let us understand the very question. Also, I would like to explain again the word ego. Very, commonly used word ego, ahankar. The right word is jiva. Now the ego, who is an ego? In one, ego means sometimes people, even they don't define ego and they don't understand ego. And they try that I should be egoless. I have to crush my ego. They say like this. They make big words. I have to finish my ego. This ego is a problem. Like that they talk. Ego means notion about oneself. Sense of individuality. Ego means sense of doership, enjoyership. That I am a doer means karta. Enjoyership means I am a bhokta. Kartritva bhoktriptam is ego. The one who has sense of individual means limited. So Pujya Swamiji used to say, ego is the one who has a biography. Okay? What is the biography? And that biography is loaded with all kinds of emotions, suspense, drama, love, and anger, and frustration, and all that. And in that biography, most of the chapters are of pain, are of agony, of hurt, of irritation, of anger, of frustration, of despair. All these chapters are. And these chapters, this fellow, that is ego, keeps reading again and again. That is the problem. That you may have a chapter of pain. You may have a chapter of agony or despair or irritation or anger. Even you keep reading again and again, there is a pain of the pain. There is an anger for that particular anger. That is an ego, biography. So that means mostly that biography is unhappy biography. In Indian cinema, we had a hero long ago. Now he is, I think he died or is dying, Dilip Kumar. He is alive, I guess. He is very old. But he was called as a tragedy king. He used to play the roles of the tragedy. And he was the best in depicting the role. It is not only that fellow is tragedy king. every ego is a tragedy king. And that ego is not king only, sovereign king, Chakravarti Samrat. Why, Because fellow has a tragedy and spreads tragedy also. Creates tragedy in the lives of the near and dear one. Small thing gets angry and blames the person and gets hurt and hurts the people. That is ego. Okay. That means alpagnasya, in any which way limited. Limited in knowledge, limited in power, limited in time, limited in space, limited in action, limited in any which way. The ahankara means, there are many definitions, but all mean the same from different perspectives. The one who has a sense of being limited. The one who is endowed with individuality, and that individuality is that I am limited. That is ahankara. So whenever you use the word ego, be clear what you mean by the word ego. Ego means individual. Ego means limited. Ego means the biography fellow. Or ego means tragedy queen. Tragedy king and tragedy queen. Both ways applies to. Anyway, coming back to this, who is Ishvara? Ishvara is, there is the one who doesn't have any kind of biography. That sense of limitation is not there. That is Ishvara. The sense of doership, enjoyership is not there. Namam karmani limpanti name karma phale spruha. Itimam yobijanati karma bhir nasabatyate. There is a verse in Gita, in fact so many verses, where Lord Krishna reveals himself. While revealing his own nature, he says, I am not this Krishna which you think, I am the Ishvara. And that Ishvara, the Lord is the one who is free from doership and enjoyership. And when he is free from doership and enjoyership, there is no karma phala. So there is no birth and death, etc. That is Ishvara. How can there be identity between these two? How these differences are opposite nature. These differences are very clear. It is our experience that we see the difference. How can they be one? They seem to be dual, different from each other, but how can there be one? They are one who are possessed of contradictory qualities. Their nature is diagonally opposite to each other. How can there be oneness between the two? Now, see the next sentence that he reveals. Now, he says, iti ched na. If so, iti ched. Iti means thus. It's if. Ched means so. If you think so, if this is your argument, if this is your point of view, if this is your statement, if this is your doubt, iti ched. Only one answer, na, it is not so. And then he explains, why no? That doubt, what is the doubt that is there, or that point of view that is there, is because of erroneous thinking. Or you can say, not having a clarity about those equations. So he gives now clarity. He says, Sthula Sukshma Sharirabhimani Tvampada Vachyathaha. Agreed? He says, Sthula Sukshma Sharirabhimani. Abhimani is not in terms of arrogance. Abhimani implies in terms of identification. Okay? Sthula Sukshma Sharirabhimani means the one who is identified with the gross and subtle body, that is Jiva. That is Tattvabodha Vachya. That is the immediate meaning, or that is the perceived meaning, or that is a common meaning of I, means Tvam, you. The individual or Jiva is a one who is identified with this gross and the subtle body. What does it mean, gross and subtle body? Identification, what does it mean? The qualities of these two bodies are construed as my quality. The qualities of these two bodies are imputed upon I, that they are taken as I, my qualities, me. What are the qualities? In one word you can say they are limited. So therefore, since I am identified with them, the I sense is that I am limited. Okay. One. That is known or immediate or direct meaning of Tvampada. The word Tvam, Tattvamasi, in the word Tattva, in the equation Tattvamasi, Tvam is a word. This is, as somebody has written a book, fairly good book, The Great Equation. Like A is equal to B. So a great equation is Tvam, U is equal to Tat, Ishvara. I equal to Ishvara. That's a great equation. In that equation, there are two padas. There are two name nouns, Tvam, you and that. So the you word, direct meaning or immediate meaning of you is the one who is identified here. Then he says, similarly, but what is the implied meaning? What is the in real meaning, you can say? Upadhi vinirmuktam samadhi dasha sampannam shuddham chaitanyam tvampada lakshartha. Okay? Tvampada lakshartha. What is the implied meaning of Tvam, you? Is Shuddham Chaitanya, pure consciousness. What is the pure consciousness? Upadhi vinirmuktam. The consciousness which is free from any limiting adjuncts. And Samadhi Dasha Sampannam. One who is obtained in Samadhi. That we will explain later. Here Samadhi means when the resolution of the subject-object division takes place, that is Samadhi. Resolution of the subject-object means seer seen are resolved into one consciousness. That is Samadhi. That Samadhi doesn't necessarily mean closing the eyes. Common meaning of Samadhi is you close eyes and sit still and you become oblivious of this physio-psycho world, body and the world. That is Samadhi. No. The Samadhi means this resolution with open eyes as well, or living in that awareness of non-duality, that is called Samadhi. It is in that Samadhi that Shuddha Chaitanya, which obtains in that Samadhi, means when subject-object division is resolved and what obtains is pure consciousness, that pure consciousness is an implied meaning of that word. Okay? Now let us see this one by one. Pujya Swamiji often used to say this, whenever exercises like this, mathematics, when you learn arithmetic or anything, there are equations given. And right from nursery or first KG, first class, primary class, I don't remember when we were taught, but this was a common when we were taught subtractions and additions. The most difficult example was 5 plus 7 is equal to 9 plus 3. We used to have those traditional toys with 10 numbers. So we had 5, then 7, and then count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11, 12. And the other side is 9, and then you count 3, then 12. And later on we were taught more further equation. 3 plus 4 equal to 5 plus 2, or 9 minus 2. That minus also, it was difficult. We needed some help of objects to understand the difference. Whenever there is an equation, two sides are contradictory, apparently. Otherwise, there is no need of telling. Teacher need not give equation 4 plus 2 equal to 2 plus 4. It is not an equation. 4 plus 2 equal to 1 plus 5, that may be little contradictory for a tiny thought. Or 4 plus 2 equal to 10 minus 4, something may. There has to be apparent contradiction in an equation. And we accept that contradiction. So, contradiction is obvious. And what is obvious need not be true. What is so true to us, it need not be true. That means that obvious contradiction should be resolved. And we have to understand that there is no contradiction. Apparent contradiction needs to be resolved into non-contradiction. That is the purpose of equation. The obvious contradiction needs to be understood, needs to be explained away, and when that contradiction, apparent contradiction is explained, you understand that there is no contradiction. Like in this childhood, we used to say 4 plus 2 is equal to 5 plus 3. Then we used to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and then count them together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then 5 plus 1, 5, 1, 2. The apparent contradiction is understood. 4 plus 2 is understood 6. Then 5 plus 1 is also understood at 6. And it gets resolved. So, 2 points in an equation that there is a contradiction is obvious. That there is an apparent contradiction is not denied. And second point is the contradiction when explained away from a proper perspective. When you try to understand each sides of the equation properly, the contradiction stands resolved. And the fact that is revealed by the equation, 4 plus 2 is equal to 5 plus 1 is a fact. That any fact which is revealed by the so-called apparent contradiction becomes revealed. So therefore, Tattvam Asi, the word is Asi, verb. Asi means you are. Shastra or teacher doesn't say you shall become that. After that, there are some traditions here in our country who believes in this duality. And they say, oh, after death, he will go to some place like much higher than heaven, and then you will become one with the God. So there is no further becoming one, futuristic becoming. It says you are Asi. The Sanskrit verb Asi means you are. What? Tattvabodha. You are that. So that is a statement of fact. And this fact of oneness, this fact of non-duality, this fact of kaivalyam becomes evident when the apparent contradictions are explained from a proper perspective, when they are understood with a proper methodology, then there is no contradiction. Okay. Now, please understand these two words, immediate meaning, vachyartha, and lakshyartha. Immediate meaning and implied meaning. These two words one should understand. To explain these two words, I'll take help of a story, our history, and a character, Karna. For our Western students, I will in a nutshell explain, enumerate the story, tell the story. It seems there was a character, person, lady called Kunti. Mahabharata and Ramayana is a history for us. Kunti was gifted with some mantras by which she can have a progeny. She was virgin, young, and then she served some Rishi and she said, when you get married and should you want a progeny, use this mantra, Devatas will give you your progeny. Out of curiosity and impatience, she did chant mantra and did what was taught to be done, even when she was not married. And then she had a son. And she propitiated, invoked Lord Surya Devata, the sun, S-U-N son, and got S-O-N son from the Devata. And this lady couldn't take it because of the cultural and religious values. And that I can't have a son before I get married. And how can I explain it away? And she also did. So she put him in a basket and floated him through the river. Somebody will pick him. And it seems not far away, one charioteer, one servant, who's one person who was doing a driver, you can say. His name was Adhiratha. And his wife's name was Radha. So Adhiratha and Radha, the couple, picked up the basket. They saw the basket, took away from the river, and opened it. They saw a baby. Since they didn't have any children and for a long time, and then they were wanting a progeny, they took it as a gift from the God. God has said. So they brought up the baby. Originally, son, Surya Devata's son, through Kunti, given to Kunti. So he was the son of Kunti and Surya. But these people brought him up, and he became known in the society as a son of Adhiratha and Radha. The same person whose name was Karna. So, like Kunti's son in a Sanskrit, there is a grammatical usage called that from the name Kunti's son, you can say Kaunteya. Kaunteya means son of a Kunti. Vasudevaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So Vasudevasya Putraha. Apatyam Puman Vasudeva. It is called Taddhita. That's okay. That's a grammar part of it. There is a grammatical usage that you can form a noun out of a noun. By the way, the beauty of the Sanskrit language is most of the nouns are derived from the verb with some suffix and prefix. And there is no meaningless verb. Verb has a meaning. And therefore the nouns that are derived from the verb reveals its nature, the meaning of it. A classic example, I can say, some of you know this also, like this world, or let us say this body, or you can say anything, like let's say Rama, that's simple. There is a noun called Rama, proper noun, individual. But that noun is formed from the word Rama. Rama means to revel. Ramate sarvasmin, one who revels in the heart of everybody. Ramate sarve yasmin, that is the word, in whom everyone revels. That is Ananda. So that Ananda Atma is Ram. It's the nature of the Vastu is revealed by the noun. And there is few other usages like samasa. From two nouns, you can make another noun, like Rama and Krishna. They are proper nouns. But then you can have a proper name as Ramakrishna, Shivramakrishna. You know, that's some of the names of the people hailing from south. They have this noun from out of noun. And one of the usages is Taddita, which enhances the meaning. Like Kunti son Arjuna was called as Kaunteya. And let's get back to story. So this Karna also took himself to be son of Radha and Adhiratha. Thought he is my father and she is my mother. So he was known as Radheya, son of Radha. See, those days, though Hindu society by and large we had a patriarchy, but mother also had that much respect that children were known through mother, Radhe. And that Karna, as the story goes, became a great archer, and Duryodhana befriended him to enhance his strength for strategic point of view. Not that he had a love for him, then of course he developed a little bit for him. And Karna stood by him as a friend, made him a king, chieftain. So he got a status of a king. Simple son of a charioteer got this status. You know, in Indian society, this is not new. Common men gaining the highest padam. So today, Chaiwala becoming Prime Minister, it is not something new to us. This Alexander or Narendra Modi is becoming Prime Minister. Driver's son also has become the king in those days, and in lighter side of it. So when this Mahabharata war was almost decided, because Lord Krishna himself went to talk to Duryodhana and give away the share to Pandavas, and he refused and he challenged them, and there was no option but to go for war for Pandavas. So then Karna was on Duryodhana's side. Lord Krishna thought of telling him the truth, thereby he doesn't take the Duryodhana's sides, and when Duryodhana becomes weak, out of weakness he may give in. That was the idea, and so a war can be avoided. So Lord Krishna narrated the whole story. And ultimately he said, there was this, you know, this Kunti, and she was virgin, and then she served this Durvasa Rishi, and he gave a boon, and then the mantra, and then out of curiosity and impatience, he did that upasana, and then invoked Lord Sun, and the sun was born, and he floated the sun, and this Adhiratha and all picked up, etc., gave complete background. And therefore, he says, therefore precedes the background. Therefore, he says, Natvam Radheya, Tvam tu Kaunteya. You are not Radheya, but then you are Kaunteya. Okay? Now look at this. You, when Krishna says you, You, the direct meaning is son of Radha and Adhiratha. That's what known means. But says you are Kaunteya. So there is an implied meaning. Understand? The word you has two meanings. One direct meaning is Radheya, or you can say apparent or popular meaning, but the implied, you are not this. Or if suppose he had told him, you are the king of Hastinapur, you are the king, that you are king in that sentence, you directly may mean the son of a Radha, but implied meaning is you are son of a Kunti. Understand? That is Lakshya. That is what is implied when it is said you. Okay? So, from one standpoint of view, in a Karna, you means the Radha and Adhiratha and their son. And from other standpoint of view, you means not Radha and Adhiratha, but Kunti and Surya Devata, son of the god, Surya Devata, son of the sun. That is what it implies. Similarly, when it is said you, the direct meaning is Ahankara. As we saw Ahankara, Karta, Bhokta, or in other words, who is individual Ahankara? Who takes himself to be limited. Why I take myself to be limited? In which way, time-wise, etc. When do I take myself time-wise limited? The answer is, people say, I am teenage, I am young, I am middle-aged, I am getting old, and I am going to die, etc. That I is subject to these modifications, vikaras of birth, teenage, tarunavastha, yuvavastha, middle age, and then vruddhavastha, etc. Actually, these are the modifications of body. And they are somehow imputed upon I. They are somehow taken as I. We have seen this in at the earliest part of the book 1 year ago. How they are imputed? How can you say they don't belong to me? There is only one logic. The seer is always different from the seen. I see my body and I know it is different. And I refer it also as a difference. But these qualities are never taken as different, they are taken as my quality. You know, how, as at that time also I had given this example. When this fellow is old, he says, my head is always paining. Constantly, I have ache in my head. Nowadays, Swamiji, my eyes don't see. Nowadays, I feel the stomach cannot digest certain foods. Nowadays, my legs are aching. My knees have pain. Nowadays, my back have pain. In fact, that is a typical of old man, very old man. Everything is paining. And he or she refers every organ as my knees are paining, my eyes don't see, my stomach cannot digest, my head has some pain at this back. He goes to doctor and says, I have back this pain over here. Suppose but then see the contradiction. He says, doctor, I have pain. He says, what kind of pain? Then he defines, I have headache. I have headache. You know, I have headache, or I have neck ache, or I have back ache, or I have knee aches, whatever it is. Anything that you have is not you. You can't say, I have $1,000 in my pocket. That doesn't mean you become $1,000. Suppose They are traveling and say, that, do you have some chocolates? Yes, I have bubble gum. It doesn't mean you are bubble gum. I have credit card. That doesn't mean you are a credit card. You can, the possessor is different from what is possessed. That's what we say. So the body is possessed and I am a possessor. That's what we say this. But then sometimes I, the possessor, becomes possessed by the qualities of the body. And say, this fellow says, I have grown very old. I'm gonna to die. Why you say you got old, grown old? That means your body has grown old, the body will die. So, this is called Upadhi. Upadhi means what? By mere presence around, it gives its qualities to the thing that is which is besides or near. Our example, traditional example is a crystal is a Upadhi. Flower is an Upadhi for crystal. Red rose is an Upadhi. How? By mere presence of the rose, crystal appeared to be red. That quality is imputed. Limitations comes to crystal. What limitations? It had no limitation, therefore it was colorless. Now it is red, that means not yellow, not blue, not green, etc. Limited. So, Upadhi means by mere presence or existence, it imputes its qualities on others. By the red flower, by its mere presence, imputes its quality on the crystal, and crystal appears as red. There is a seeming redness of the crystal. The crystal appears to be red. Similarly, there is a seeming limitation. Seemingly, I am subject to birth and death. Seemingly, I am subject to modifications of these various ages, teenage and then young age and middle age and old age and very old age, etc. etc. That is the Vachyartha. That is a direct meaning of you. But then implied meaning is pure consciousness. The truth of the seer, the truth of the knower, one who knows this physio-psycho-complex, one who knows this body-mind complex, one who sees this complex, the truth of that seer is knowledge. Knower of the truth of that knower is pure knowledge, pure consciousness. So, the implied meaning is Shuddham Chaitanyam, pure consciousness which is free from any limitation. When I say, look at this, another example. There is a red crystal. I see a red crystal. When I said this is colorless, this is colorless. So when I said this, the direct meaning is that which appears red. When I say is colorless, the implied meaning is the redness really doesn't belong to the colorless crystal. Understand? So, Tvam, you, direct meaning Vachyartha is the individual. Ahankara, the biography fellow, a tragedy king or queen, super king, sovereign king of the tragedy, that you. That's a direct. Implied meaning of that you happens to be pure consciousness. Why? We have discussed earlier while talking about Atmakaha, a self is Sachidanandaha. I am pure consciousness, existence, and Anandaha. happiness, sukham, limitless happiness. So that is the one, the implied. When I say this crystal is colorless, I need not remove the red and say it is colorless. Suppose I have smeared my hand with kumkumam. Red kumkumam, we do this puttu here. The hands are red. And then I can say they are not red. But suppose it's a white person or a black person, this is black. This is black. To discover that this is black, I need to physically clear the color. Wash my hands with a soap and detergent, whatever it is, and remove the color and it's original. Similarly, when I say crystal is colorless, to remove the red color, I don't have to do this. It's purely cognitive. I don't have to do any endeavor to remove the color, but understand this is colorless. He says, similarly, see the next sentence. Evam, now this is Jiva talked about. So now this one side of the equation is explained away, is resolved. Other side he explains. When both the sides are explained away, the contradiction is resolved. One side Jiva is explained, it explains the Ishvara. Evam Sarvagnatwadi Vishishtaha Ishvaraha Tattvabodha Upadi Shunyam Shuddham Chaitanyam Tattvabodha Lakshartha. The direct meaning of Tat means the Ishvara, that is what Sarvagnatwadi Vishishtaha. One who is endowed with these qualities of all-knowing, etc. One who is limitless. That is the direct meaning of it, of Ishvara. But then implied meaning is Upadi Shunyam, the one who is devoid of any kind of limiting agents, and pure consciousness is the implied meaning of Ishvara. We say, this Ishvara is all, limitless. Limitations are threefold. Limitations of time, limitations of space, and limitations of objectivity. So he is there all times, he is at all places, and he is in the all forms, all which way he is, Sarva Rupena. Now, that when you say all space everywhere, that statement comes when you accept the space. The space itself is created by Ishvara through Maya. We have seen the discussion. So, and so also Kala. Desh, Kala, etc. object are born out of Ishvara through Maya. And that Maya is Mithya. So all these adjuncts that he is limitless and everywhere, etc., are Mithya. They are apparent, or they are from the standpoint of view of Maya. His unique Brahma's unique power, Brahma, Shraya, Maya, Asti. We have seen that unique Shakti called Maya has, because of that Maya, he gets these imputed qualities of being Ishvara, who is Sarvagna, Sarvashaktiman, who is all-knowing, all-powerful, all-pervasive, etc. But then, devoid of Upadhi Maya, the nature of Ishvara is pure consciousness. Shuddha Chaitanyam Tattvabodha Lakshartha. Okay? Thus, there is no difference between the two. Tasmat, he says, Jiveshwarayoho Chaitanya Rupena Abhede Bhadaka Thus, between Jiva and Ishvara, between individual and total, there is no difference because both are pure consciousness. Abhede Badaka. Abhede, in non-duality, with reference to in the subject matter of non-duality between Jiva and Ishvara, Badaka Abhava. There is nothing which can negate. There is nothing which can question. There is nothing which can falsify this Abheda, this non-duality. We shall see a little bit of this further next week. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha.